In the very beginning of the pilot training session, I was like, oh, would I really do that? Can I do that? Pilot license allows you to fly in an aircraft, so this is kind of like a driver's license for a car. With the private pilot license, you can maneuver a small aircraft like Cessna 172 or something like that. And the training includes how to maneuver an aircraft, how to navigate, how to do emergency procedure, and cross-country flight.
Okay, so it looks like you're coming in a little too slow. Yeah. Right. So anticipation of, you know, us gonna be sinking, we gotta add more power. Just add that power a little bit earlier. Okay. Right.
Depending on what kind of aircraft you want to fly, there are multiple types of certificates and ratings, such as private pilot license, instrument rating, commercial pilot license, airline transport pilot license, and multi-engine land ratings. So, for example, suppose that you want to fly a very typical commercial aircraft, such as Boeing 737. The Boeing 737 is a multi-engine land aircraft with over 12,500 pounds and utilizes turbofan engine. In that sense, you need to get the airline transport pilot license and the multi-engine land B737 rating. That being said, private pilot license is the very first step to become an airline pilot. And with this private pilot license, you can maneuver the aircraft under VFR, which is a visual flight condition, with your family and friends. And if you want to fly an aircraft under bad weather and bad condition, you can also get the instrument rating, which allows you to fly even in clouds. In order to get certified, you need to pass a written knowledge test and practical flight test. In addition to the flight maneuvering technique, it is essential to learn how to communicate with the people at the tower control. So I'm using the app to practice how to communicate. Morrison Tower, Lear 95970 at runway 31, ready for departure. Request to stay in a pattern for the option.
Lear 95970, Morristown Tower, wind 290 at 10, gusting 18, enter right traffic runway 31, cleared for takeoff.
Enter right traffic runway 31, clear for takeoff, Lear 95970. As I did, it is pretty important to repeat what the tower control said, and I'm doing this practice every time I have a chance to do so. Northeast Grand Archer 2901 Lima Alpha, Legacy ramp request taxi to runway 33 with information, Echo Northeast departure.
Cherokee 292 Lima Alpha, Northeast Ground, runway 33, taxi via Alpha 3 Alpha.
Runway 33, taxi via Alpha 3 Alpha to 1 Lima Alpha. Hey, taxi clearance received, taxi area clear, parking brake released. Okay, throttle check, brake check. Cool. Right. Okay, let's go. In addition, before these two tests, you also have to complete at least 35 to 40 hours of flight training at minimum. But on average, people need at least 70 to 75 hours of training. So in that sense, 40 hours are just the minimum number. You may also have to go to grant school, in which you learn about aeronautical knowledge, regulations, how to understand weather information, and so on. And after completing all these kind of training sessions, you can take a test. Several months are necessary in that sense to get certified. Even if you're willing to do a training 3 times a week, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can get certified within 3 weeks or within a month, because sometimes you have to skip the class or cancel a class due to the bad weather or wind, which actually happened to me many times over the past several weeks. It looks like the weather is improving gradually. I was gonna do a solo flight today, but the weather is not good, so I'm gonna have to wait for a while. And hopefully, I'm gonna be able to do that today. But if not, I'm gonna do that tomorrow or soon. So, what am I going to learn in this pilot license training? Well, there are two important things. First of all, I'm going to learn the basic maneuvering techniques, such as how to do takeoff, how to do landing, how to do emergency landing, how to do steep turn like with the 45-degree angle, and how to understand weather information, how to communicate with tower control, and knowing about regulations. But most importantly, I'm going to learn how to do decision making and how to be a great decision maker. Sometimes engine failure or some kind of malfunction may occur during my flight, and even under the kind of situation, I have to make a decision. And being a great decision maker under extreme situation will be very, very beneficial for astronauts, in my opinion. So that's what I'm going to learn, and that's why I'm doing the pilot license training. Hey, solid green for takeoff. I did it! Oh! I did it!